Hello, wrestling fans, boxing fans, and everybody out there. How are you? It's ride time. Wrestling and boxing forever. Now, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Your friends, your family. I hope you showed love to the loved ones. Shout out to everybody at CTU, Colorado Tech University Online. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. So, I said I was going to come back with a spotlight. I decided to do one on former NWA World Champion Nick Aldis. That's right, Nick Aldis. Now, he turned pro in 2003. He was on not the original American Gladiators, but they remade the American Gladiators where Nick Aldis was on there. He got signed to Impact Wrestling. Where in Impact Wrestling, he was a tag team champion with Samoa Joe, a tag team champion with Doug Williams, the British Invasion, and he was an Impact Wrestling World's Champion. As we all know, in 2017, Billy Corgan purchased the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. Tim Storm, Joe Cephas, and Nick Aldis, three major components to the NWA. Rest in peace, Joe Cephas, aka Question Mark, the original Question Mark. So, Nick Aldis comes into the NWA, and the first time he challenged Tim Storm for the world title, Tim Storm was successful against Nick Aldis. The second time around, it was December 9th, 2017. And that's where Nick Aldis took his first NWA World's title. Now, Tim Storm was injured, thanks to Joe Cephas. So, after winning the world title the first time, he went on to do the Crusade, the 10 pounds of gold, the Aldis Crusade, where he would have defended the title over, I believe, 60 times. Anyway, the NWA had this 10 pounds of gold series, and this thing was built with Nick Aldis. And as successful had Nick Aldis, extremely successful, top of the line talent, top of the line, great talent. But his biggest success was in the NWA. I guarantee you, his biggest success was in the NWA. And he had a trilogy of matches with Tim Storm. They wrestled 3 times. Tim Storm had won the first one. Nick Aldis got the last 2. Nick Aldis was a part of the All In pay-per-view where he wrestled Cody Rhodes for the NWA World's Heavyweight title. The All In pay-per-view sold out. It was in Chicago and at the Allstate Arena, I believe. And Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis was the main event for that pay-per-view, where Cody Rhodes actually won the title. NWA 70 comes around at the fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where Nick Aldis regains the world's title. On that crusade, on the Nick Aldis crusade, he defended that world title against James Ellsworth, Tommy Dreamer, Crimson. He took the NWA World title to Winzhou, China. I don't know I forgot where they were, but it was in China. He went to China and defended the title against Colt Cabana. He was involved with a faction called Strictly Business, which had Tom Latimer, Chris Adonis, and a lady, Camille, who is the NWA World's Women's Champion right now as we speak. So, Nick Aldis and Billy Corgan, they couldn't come to an understanding on a creative direction. So Nick Aldis parted ways with the company. So we'll see what Nick Aldis does from here. The NWA is going to be fine, folks. Nick Aldis, terrific talent, great on anybody's roster. Great on anybody's roster. But his biggest success was the National Wrestling Alliance. The biggest success of his career, in my opinion, was the National Wrestling Alliance, because they allowed Nick Aldis to be Nick Aldis. And maybe Billy Corgan was right about some things. Maybe Nick Aldis was right about some things. And they just couldn't meet, in the middle. But Nick Aldis is a hell of a superstar, hell of a wrestler. His wife, Mickie James, Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, a very talented lady in her own right. The NWA did an event called In Power. It was an all-female pay-per-view. Some off the top, great female talents. It was on that pay-per-view. Some phenomenal female talents. But financially, it didn't do so well. Billy Corgan said that he lost money doing the all-female pay-per-view. It didn't do well buy rate. People didn't buy the pay-per-view. So Billy Corgan said that he wasn't going to do it. Well, he didn't say he wouldn't do it again, but he wasn't in a rush to do it again. like I said, on the Empowered pay-per-view, a lot of terrific talent, a lot of great talent. Just financially, he didn't recoup what he put out, if that makes any sense. You know? So he wasn't in a rush to do that pay-per-view again. Nick Aldis, terrific talent. Where's he going to end up next? I have no idea. I wish that him and Billy Corgan would have worked things out where he could have stayed, or they could have came to a middle ground where everybody was happy. But it doesn't look that way, folks. Good luck to former NWA World Champion Nick Aldis. Good luck to the National Wrestling Alliance, because I am a fan of their product. I love what they're doing with the Junior Heavyweight Championship, the National Championship, the World Championship. Like, they have an audience for what they're doing. I just think that they're in a rebuilding period. You know, going through all that with Nick Aldis and everything else that went with it, it was a lot, but I think it's just a rebuilding period for them. And so I think the NWA is just in a rebuilding period, trying to trying to recoup after the Nick Aldis situation. But it's all good. The NWA still doing great. Got some terrific talent on their roster, from the Fixers to Elijah Burke to JTG, Dirty Dango. That's, you know, they got some terrific talent on their roster. Terrific talent on their roster. So I think that they'll be fine. And as you know, wrestlers can get released from contracts anytime, anywhere. There's always new faces that are coming in. I'd like to see Mike Piro come back to the NWA. I'd like to see Willie Mack come back to the NWA. James Storm. So, was Nick Aldis a big loss to the NWA? Yeah. But the NWA is going to be fine. The NWA is going to be fine. So, right time. Wrestling and boxing forever. Keep climbing that ladder of success. Wherever your success leads you. I'm out.